Hello, everyone. I know I haven't been here in a while, but now that I'm here, what I'm going to try to do is do as many videos as possible, as often as possible. Life happens and just people get real busy. I'm trying to get kind of where I shoot my videos set. I didn't have time to get this set. Okay. So first of all, I would like to have a moment of silence for baby girl Janiyah. If you don't know what's happening in Florida, in Bradenton, you know, where I stay, a little girl went missing and I found a body in a freezer and she's presumed dead, and her mother is not cooperating with authorities. So I would just like to have a brief moment of silence for baby girl Janiyah and her family. Thank you. So I haven't really wanted to talk on this issue of gun violence and race and stuff like that. I haven't been really wanting to talk about this issue on YouTube for a number of reasons, mostly because YouTube is an open forum and everybody is open to criticize and argue and badger and banter and all that good stuff that people do on social media. But I have been talking about it, some of my inner circle, with my family, and things of that nature. And of course, I watch the news. I try to be as informed as possible about what's going on in America and abroad and all that good stuff. So, I had to do it. I don't want to say I had to do it, but I did have to do it. I felt compelled to do so for a number of reasons, and there will be a number of other videos to follow this in the future, because I feel like it's time for the younger generation, i.e. my generation, to kind of start paying attention to what's happening in the world and stop worrying about like rap and Fetty Wap and Kim K and all that craziness. None of that matters, honestly, because those people don't care about us. They don't care about us. They don't care about our struggles because they're not struggling. They got money. Like, you see what I'm saying? So, this video, I haven't come up with the title yet. The title will be obviously down below somewhere. But, it's just going to be about gun violence and between the two races, i.e. black and white. And I know people says, oh, it's not all about black and white. I'm colorblind. I'm this and that. No. Excuse me for what I'm about to say, because it's about to sound a little ignorant, but ain't no colorblind, bitch. Like, if I'm black and you're white, there's no colorblind. Like, it is in black and white. That's how a lot of people see the world. They see the world in black and white because that's what it is. It's black and white. So when people say they're colorblind, I think that is just ridiculous, because there's no way, especially in this modern time America, that you can be colorblind. Now, the reason that I'm doing this video and why I'm so passionate about this subject is because there's such a divide in white America and black America. Excuse me. I'm battling a cold. I've been battling this like cold for 3 days, and I'm trying to knock it out real early. And so it's leaving, so good at that. But anyway, there is a divide between black America and white America, and let me tell you why. Because what would happen and what is allowed to fly in white America if you were a black American, it just wouldn't happen. And I know everybody's gonna be out there talking about some, no, it's the United States of America, so it's everybody. Honey, let me tell you about your political correctness. It's not politically correct. At all. I'm sorry. It's not politically correct. Because the United States of America was not founded for black people. I'll say that again. The United States of America was not founded for black people. If you go back and look in our Constitution, blacks or Africans or Negroes or slaves or whatever we were being called back then were 3/5 of a person, not even worthy enough to be a whole person. The U.S. is not made for my people. So when I say Black America and White America, I mean exactly what I'm saying. And I don't have anything against white people. I have white friends. You know, like, I have white friends. I have no problem with white people. I've worked with white people. Like, I'm not racist. I have nothing against other races. I'm multiracial myself. I mean, I have nothing against that. I just need people to understand that when I say what I say and when black people say what they say, it's not because we don't like white people. So stop characterizing us as the angry black person because you say one thing or a few things or some points that don't agree with your white views. All black people are not against white people. And that is also goes to show that all white people aren't against black people. And we don't think that. We just think that we've been put in an unfair system that was not built for our people, so now we're trying to adapt, and instead of giving us the tools to adapt, you are keeping us down, and we're trying to figure out why when, like you're gonna say, America was made for everyone. So with that being said, there have been recent shootings and talks about gun reform and mass school shootings and things of this nature, and I've been listening to the conversation. I've been watching CNN like it's just the Bible on television. Excuse me. I've been on the internet and looking at news outlets and HLN and MSNBC and ABC and every news channel that's showing things that are happening around the world. I'm tuned into, i.e. mainly CNN, because CNN usually has it right then and I can watch it in the morning when I'm eating my breakfast. So, we're gonna go back. A few days ago, I was watching the news in the morning with my family, and something caught my attention, so I turned the TV up. Oh, a 17-year-old white boy in Michigan was shot 7 times and killed by a police officer. Now, there was body video and everything like that, so we got to see that on the news. And the premise for the stop was because the young man, I can't recollect his name at the moment, but the young man flashed his lights at the police officer because obviously his brights were bright to him and he assumed that he had his bright lights on. So he flashed his lights to tell him that, hey, you have on your brights. So that was the pretext in which the police officer pulled him over. And upon pulling him over, I can admit the young man was a bit uncooperative, and he was not being hostile, but he had that attitude that a lot of us young people have, and he forced the young man out of the car after a bit of back and forth. He told the young man to get out of the car because the young man was going to make a phone call. So he told the young man to get on the ground, and upon him getting on the ground, he kicked his cell phone, and the young man obviously he got upset about the police officer kicking his cell phone. Who's not going to get upset about a police officer? Anybody kicking their cell phone. So he kicked his cell phone, and the young man went to get up and was like, hey, you can't do that. And there was a scuffle. And upon the scuffle, the body cam obviously got covered up. But you can obviously hear gunshots, and then you hear the police officer over the radio saying that shots fired, I shot one, or something along that lines to that nature. And this young man was shot, like I said, 7 times, and he was pronounced dead, I believe, at the scene. And the young man's family is suing the state of Michigan, I believe, and the police department for justice for their son because it's a wrongful death suit, I believe. Excuse me. So I saw that on the news, and what struck me as absolutely phenomenal, and I had the most intense discussion about it the same day, because I watched it all day, and then I decided, you know, the person that I really talked to about politics and news, we had a very intense discussion about it, and what caught my eye was that the DA and district attorney in Michigan cleared this police officer of all wrongdoing, saying that the shooting was justified. The shooting was justified, and I know I'm smiling because I'm thinking back to the emotions I had that day, and I was just in pure disgust. I was horrified, I was disgusted, I was just alleviated. I had a lot of emotion, but then upon those emotions was an emotion of deja vu, because, and do not, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, don't take it the wrong way. If you don't want to hear what I have to say next, I suggest that now you leave this video, because if you're going to get offended and you're not going to try to have an open mind and understand my reasons for saying what I'm going to say, I will give you at least 10 seconds to leave this video now. Okay. I felt a sense of deja vu because this is the same thing that happens to young black bodies every day. Every day. Policemen are killing our young black bodies, are killing our young brown boys, are killing our young black race every day, and being cleared of any wrongdoing, not being reprimanded, nothing at all, and it just goes unscathed, it goes unannounced. It's so cliche that nobody even thinks to announce it anymore. But as soon as it happens to a white person, now you guys are starting to feel what we feel and have felt for a while. And I just thought it was crazy. Like, I said this when I was talking to my friend. I said, it is a shame that that young man had to lose his life for flashing his braids. Like, yes, he was being a bit uncooperative. Yes, I mean, and I think he wasn't being so much uncooperative. He was being a bit uncooperative, but the police, as in a lot of policemen, do have that feeling of superiority and authority, and they feel like people just have to do what they say because they have on that badge. So that may have played a bit into it too. I have no doubt, because I've seen it done. But the moment that a white person starts to feel the pain of a black person, we've been trying to preach to the God. Ooh, we've been preaching to the choir for a while about this, and it happens to one of your own. And now you see the pain that we go through, and then you might not even see it because you're so wrapped up in yourself, like, oh, it was an isolated incident and this and that. Like, you won't admit what we've been feeling and trying to tell you for the longest, that it's just not right. That police brutality is not right, and now it's starting to touch your spectrum and get into your circle, and now you're starting to see. Now you're starting to shed light on some of the stuff that black people have been feeling for generations. And I say generations because this goes all the way back to when the Europeans invaded Africa. Like, it's just crazy. And then yesterday, it really came to a cap for me. When was it yesterday? It was yesterday. Yesterday, it came to a cap for me when I was watching the news. I was watching CNN, and I was over at my boyfriend's house, and a young black man. He was 31 years old. In West Palm Beach, Florida, which is the place that I visited. And everything of that nature. And he was on the side of the road at 2 o'clock in the morning and was confronted by a ununiformed, unmarked police car and policeman. And that young man ended up dead. No one knows what happened. The facts are so far that the young man was sitting on the side of the road, or in the median rather, waiting for a tow truck because his car had broken down, and this ununiformed policeman and this unmarked car decided to investigate, and the young man ended up dead. And it came to a cap for me because I just could not understand. It made me angry. I could not fathom. And I don't like, and I usually like how CNN reports things. I didn't like how CNN reported it because the guy, I can't remember his name, was interviewing the family attorney. Excuse me. Was interviewing the family attorney, and the family attorney said that we're just not going to go on the word of a man who shot him. And he came at that kind of egregiously, and I just was taken aback because I was like, well, why would you just solely go on the word of a person that shot somebody and killed them? And the reporter was just, I don't know if he was not picking up the statement correctly, or if he was just trying to banter him on and on and on, talking about, oh, well, not all police are bad, and he had a clean record, and why not believe him? And I was like, you shot a person. I'm not going to solely go on the word of anybody who's done anything wrong if there's any other source of truth that I can find. Like, I couldn't. I could not. 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 Okay. So, I just, it's crazy, and no one wants gun reform because, you know, oh, they're going to take our guns away. Let me explain to you people what gun reform means. Gun reform means correcting the law so not every Tom, Dick, Harry, Mary, and Jane can go get a gun. There will be precautions put in place so that guns go into the right hands. Because everybody keeps saying it's a mental health issue. Well, let me tell you about your mental health issue. It is a mental health issue because the right precautions are not put in place so these mentally ill people can go obtain these guns legally. But you don't think about that, though. You're thinking about, oh, Obama wants to take the Second Amendment away. He wants to take away our guns. There's a book called More Guns, Less Crime, and I can't even find that piece of garbage because it's not in any local bookstore. And I really wanted to read that book. The police sheriff chief, I believe he is, and the shooting in Iowa, I believe it was, said that even after excuse me, even after 2 mass school shootings in his state, he still got no reform. But I was just shocked. sorry. Whew, see, I got so passionate, I'm gonna sit here and choke and die. But, like I was saying, he still wants no gun reform. He went as far as writing the, vice president after the first mass shooting, saying that no gun reform is needed. You know, don't take your Second Amendment away. And everything like that. And I was really taken aback because there's 2 mass shootings and he's stuck by his statements. 2 mass shootings happened in my state. Hell, 1 mass shooting happened in my state. I want every piece of gun reform you can throw at me. So it's like everybody's saying it's a mental health issue. These mentally ill people are getting these guns because there's no precautions put in place to stop them from getting these guns. Even with the black man who shot the reporter and the cameraman, he was obviously mentally ill. He obviously had something wrong with him in his mind. There was history of it, but he was still able to obtain guns legally. Y'all pray for me with this cough, y'all. But like, he was still able to obtain guns legally, despite him having a history of mental illness, despite him having a history of suicide, despite him having a history of just being a belligerent person. He still got these guns to commit these heinous crimes on national television. I mean, I just don't understand. I really don't. I don't know where the disconnect in your heads is, where you feel like because it's the Second Amendment, it has to, yes, I mean, we have to honor the Constitution and the amendments and everything of that nature, but putting in place laws to make sure that these amendments are still protected and people are still protected, I do not know why in the world anybody has a problem with that. Anybody. I just don't understand. And for you to have a problem with that and to feel like somebody's taking something away from you, no one's taking away your American rights. That is not what reform means. Reform means ensuring your rights and ensuring the safety and excuse me, and the well-being of America. But that's not what you think. And it was just crazy to me because when it was talked about the number of gun deaths and things of that nature, it was said that most of those gun deaths are suicide and gang related. I was just so disgusted when that statement was made for a number of reasons. One, being a survivor and a victim of suicide myself, I was disgusted that you could even put that into play to come out of your mouth and say it with such confidence and such boldness. Do not attack mental instability to make your plight, is what I'm going to say on that. Secondly, gang violence. Gang violence has been on the decline for a while. All over. Even in places like Compton where it ran rampant. So that's a lie. You see how that works? You see how people can just see right through your mirror of lies? And it's crazy because you will defend the NRA with such passion and vigor, but you won't take the time to set in place, you won't take the time to set in place laws that will not only protect white America, but black America. You won't set in motion things that will protect everyone, make everyone feel equal, make everyone feel protected. And with that being said, I don't want this video to be 30 minutes, but I will come back on this subject, especially as more pours in about that case with the young man in West Palm Beach, because this is right literally in my backyard. West Palm Beach is 3 hours away from me, so this is right in my backyard, and it's something that I am very passionate about, and that I will be personally looking into to give more information to you guys. So I hope when you watch this video, you watch enough of it to see why I say some of the things that I say, and why I have some of the stances and opinions that I have, and I hope you watch it. And if it's something that you disagree with, I hope you watch it anyway, and then respectfully, calmly, and with some education, tell me why, so we can have a discussion, so we can kind of get an understanding of not just my point of view, not just your point of view, but all points of view, because I want to know your point of view too. I wouldn't be an educated person if I didn't want to see every side of the story, if I didn't want to know every part of the story, because I do want to know the story. I do want to know all different opinions. I do want some other opinion and, you know, way of thinking than my own. That's how you become more educated and more well-rounded, and that's what I'm trying to do. So if it's something, if there are pieces of this you don't agree with, don't come at me out of left field. Just come at me in a nice, respectful manner and say, hey, I agree with this, but you know, A, B, C, and D, I just wasn't feeling, and this is why. And then we can discuss it and have a back and forth. That's what needs to happen, a very open, respectable, calm discussion. So with that being said, I'm out of here. More videos are to come of all types, shapes, and forms. More of these talking videos will come as, you know, things happen and we get more and more into the presidential election and things of that nature. So yeah. Alright, you guys. Bye.